Alright everybody, welcome to the Master Chris Guitar Master Class. Now when I say Master Class, I mean mediocre at best, but it's still a class because I'm teaching. Real quick, about all of my qualifications, I don't have any. I've been playing guitar out of passion for since freshman year in high school, because I wanted to make sure people thought I was cool. So yeah, freshman year of high school, that was a long time ago. So I've been playing guitar for over 10 years, and it doesn't sound like that. Okay, so a lot of disclaimers right out of the door. I'm not a guitar instructor. I am not classically trained. Almost everything that I ever learned was either just me playing around on the guitar. I learned how to read notes when I took a class. It was like an actual class in school, in high school. I ended up dropping that class because I had way too many other classes going on. So I don't remember how to read notes. I read tablature, which is, a lot of things. Take 80% of what I say with a grain of salt. This is largely for entertainment purposes only, but there are some things that I think, based on me never learning some things, what I wish I had learned and what I wish I had picked up a lot earlier, that's all stuff that I'm going to be focusing on. And for me, I didn't really learn how to play other people's songs until way later in my career. Not that I'm saying you should basically base everything off what other people have played, but you start to learn good techniques and interesting ideas that other people have done if you learn their music first. I just got a guitar and I started playing it. So there's no one way to learn guitar. There's no one way to play guitar. And there's so many things that you can get out of playing guitar, or any instrument, at that, that it's hard to describe. And, when I was figuring out, okay, people wanted me to do a guitar class, what do I teach? Me personally, I was always a rhythm guitarist in a heavy metal band. So instead of playing a lot of chords and everything, I would do a lot of like speed picking and like chugging, which is like, it's a clean guitar. So I throw my guitar like this, and a lot of this, a lot of palm muting, and so like speed picking, and it's not stuff that you see in most other styles, but it has its time, it has its place, and that's the kind of music that I used to play a whole lot of. I still do when I do play guitar. All right, other disclaimers. I haven't played guitar in a very long time, so, when we were figuring out what kind of classes we wanted to teach just for fun for the students at home, while we're on our extended spring break, guitar came up as one of them, and it really did. It motivated me to pick up the guitar, and I always forget why I put it down in the first place. So, if you're intermediate at guitar, this video is probably going to be too basic for you. But I'm going to show some things that I like to work on, and again, what I really wish that I knew a little bit. So we can cover a whole lot of things, right? I mean, there's chords, right? There's scales. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things to do with guitar. I'm going to focus mostly on picking today, which you also have to realize. If you're learning guitar and you want to get really, really good at it, you have to be okay with tedious exercises. So, an example, I had a couple friends who, in high school and even through college, who were fantastic guitar players. And the difference between them and me is that when I would have friends call me and say, hey, you want to go hang out? Let's go skateboarding, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, yeah, fine. They would say, no, I'm playing guitar. Or they wouldn't answer their phone because they would just be practicing scales. So the difference in ability was astronomical because these guys would spend hours upon hours on one scale or like one chord progression, just making sure that they had it right. And, just picking up the guitar again, I was working on different, different songs that I wanted to play for myself, or relearning old songs that I wrote. And again, you have to spend hours. So a lot of what you're doing is going to be repetition. I'm going to show some things, but then it's going to be up to you to practice it. Or if you're just watching to hear me play, you're not going to hear me play a whole lot of like fun, cool stuff. Not that I can anyways. So let's start with picking, guys. So picking can happen a lot of different ways. You can go bass style where you're using your fingers, right? You can use your thumb. You can use your thumb and your other fingers. So, oh God, I'm way out of practice. So that's using, your hand pick, or you can work on using, just a regular pick. So I'm going to be using a pick because that's mostly what I did. Obviously, you can tell I didn't do a whole lot of fingerstyle. But we're going to start just the most basic that we can start, okay? On the last string here, and again, you guys have to go through the whole, how do you tune a guitar? It goes E, A, D, G, B, E for standard tuning, right? And then there's a billion different ways that you can tune your guitar otherwise to do different cool effects. I don't play in standard. I either play in open C or drop D usually. For my super heavy metal guitars, I'm using drop C, which is like even lower to get that deep, dark sound. But most of my students, I don't think, are going to be playing heavy metal. So, but for standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E, get a tuner and make sure that you can see my tuner here. Yeah. So my tuner is great. It clips right onto the guitar, and I hit the note, and it tells you it's backwards in this video, but that's an E, right? So it'll tell me how close I am to being tuned. So just make sure that you keep your guitar in tune. All right. Pick. What kind of pick do you use? The answer is yes, which doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing: everyone has their particular style. Because I used to do a lot of like heavy metal chugging, I started using heavy picks because if I made a mistake and hit the wrong string, I kind of just wanted to plow through it and not have to worry about it. And most of the time, because we were playing faster, you wouldn't hear my mistakes as often as you should have. Again, it's one of the reasons I never got better, because I just never fixed my mistakes. I just plowed through them. But I use heavy picks. That's just my preference. So yeah, that's some people use really, really flimsy picks so that it can kind of slide and glide over the string. And then also when it comes down to how are we holding this thing, the answer is yes, yet again. So I typically will hold it between like this part of my index finger and my thumb here, like that. But I wouldn't recommend it, because now when I'm trying to work on playing faster things with precision, it's a lot harder for me to do that. So I would recommend just getting really good at holding your pick like this. Now again, there's a ton of people who will say, do this, do that, but it all comes down to preference. Just get good at playing one style. But I can see myself being handicapped at this point with this grip, because it's harder for me to play with precision. So this is a lot easier to play with precision, but it's hard for me to plow through the strings like that if if I'm trying to get through all the strings. So get a guitar pick. Unless you don't want to, then don't. You can use your thumb still, or your other fingers, so all that's fine. So the first thing that we're going to do is just focus on one string, the end, okay? I have a metronome here on my computer that's going to be playing at 120 beats per minute. Metronomes are awesome to work with because they help you kind of track your progress and get faster. So I might start at 120 beats per minute, but then the next time I play the song, go to 123, and then 125, and then just like very gradually build up to playing faster and faster and faster and faster. So this is the metronome. It's on a guitar app from my computer, but that's what I'm going to be using to kind of help track our tempo with what we're doing today. Okay, so just following the rhythm. Most music is going to be in 4/4 when you're first learning, because getting more complicated than that is unnecessary. But there are a lot of different time signatures in music, and just 4/4 is one of them. So that's when I go 3/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a lot of standard music is written in this, so you know, you're going to see it all over the place, and it's very necessary to know. But with that, you're going to start doing like quarter notes, eighth notes, okay, you know, everything like that to change the tempo or how you're playing things. So we're going to get into that, but let's just start. If you have a guitar, you know, get it here, and we're going to follow the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we're going to hit the very top string, the one closest to your head. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll notice every time I'm hitting this, I'm hitting down. This is called down picking. Okay, and you also have up picking, which is going to be something that we explore in just a second. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now, arbitrarily, let's just pick another note. We're hitting the open string, and then I'm going to go to 3, which is 1, 2, 3 from the top. All right? And that's the one, for me, it has a little dot. Right here on the fretboard, it has a little dot or some kind of indicator saying, you know, this is 3, this is 1, this is 5. All right, so I'm going to go 0, which is the open string, and then 3, okay? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're just getting used to working with the time signature and putting our hands to the guitar at the same time, okay? Still down picking. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to work on going straight from one fret to another fret. Okay, arbitrarily, again, for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to pick 5. Okay. It works well for me, so I like how it sounds, so I'm just going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was weird. Computer glitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that's just kind of like a simple exercise if you're starting out for the very first time. Now we're going to start moving on to some things that are a little bit more complicated. Again, if you're an intermediate guitarist, this is not really complicated whatsoever. But someone who's picking up guitar for the very first time, it's a little bit more complicated. Okay. So we're going to work on up picking now. So every first time we hit, we'll go down, and then the second time we're going to go up. Okay, so eventually when we get faster, this is alternative picking or speed picking. The faster you go, but it's just a very simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4, down 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4, down 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's just that down, up, down, up, down, up motion. Okay, and just a quick a quick aside. I don't know. When you start playing guitar, okay, I have a very hard time moving down the fretboard fast because, again, I didn't take lessons, and no one was really telling me to try to keep your fingers as low to the fretboard as you can. Okay, so this whole thing right here is the fretboard. Try not to, you'll see, if I play, I get my fingers way out of the way. So I'm like here, 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 and I lift my fingers way out of the way. But sometimes when you're working on trying to get faster, it's really, really hard to get faster when your fingers are that high, okay? So practice playing, nice and relaxed with your fingers a little bit closer to the fretboard. Right? just so that you know it's going to save you a lot of headache later on. Okay, so let's do alternate picking now. Okay, and now we're going to start to add in the 3rd fret. Okay, I'm not doing the 5th one yet, just the 3rd. So 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Now let's add in the 5th fret, okay? Down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're kind of just getting used to going down and up. Now again, when we start throwing in things like quarter notes, which is, you know, when we start to go a little bit faster, this will make a whole lot more sense. Right now it just seems very tedious and dry, but very important, okay? So, going down and going up, okay? Now, again, in no order whatsoever, we're just going to start going to a different string, okay? I'm going to play the exact same spots on the guitar, so 3 and 5, just on the next string, okay? So I'm going to go 0, 0, 3, and 5, but also just to get used to it, we're going to move to the other string. So first, and again, if any guitar teacher tells you otherwise, if you ever go to a, you know, a real guitar teacher, you know, listen to them above me, but we're just going to start down picking on each string, okay? So don't up pick yet. We're going to get there in just a second, okay? So let me get my broken metronome. 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it does like a pop pop, and I don't know why it does that, but just a glitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, next string. Right there. Do that weird click click. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next string. First string. Next string. First. Next. First. Next. Okay. Now, let's get ready to up pick. Down, this one. Up the other one. Down. Okay, now we're going to down and up on each string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. And again, up. Next string, down. And again, up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Okay, so then you can just work on, you know, and faster. Okay, so this is just how you start to work with, you know, down and up picking as you get faster. All right, so let's start looking into each string, down and up picking, and then we're going to go to the next string, down and up pick. So again, you can pick whatever notes you want, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to go 0, 3, 5, 0, okay? And I'm going to alternate pick, so down, up, down, up, down, up, okay? Then I'm going to go to the next string, 0, 3, 5, 0, okay? Now, you're also going to hear me say first string, okay, and hit here. That's just the one that if I took real guitar classes at any point, I would have it beaten into me that the first string is here. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, do it that way. It makes everything simpler. Okay, just because I'm me, that's the first string for me because that's usually the first one I'll play. Because again, rhythm guitar, that. All right. So don't forget. That's actually the 6th string. I'm going to call it the 1st all the time. Ignore me later when you're actually doing guitar on your own. All right, so alternate picking on individual notes, on individual strings. Now again, at this point, I'm way out of practice, so if I make any mistakes, bear with me. I'm not a professional guitar player or a professional instructor by any means, but you know, this is kind of a lot of the stuff that I did play, so hopefully it's still there. Okay, so this is gonna mess up at some point. Bear with me there. So 1, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, and 0, 2, 3. Next string, 1, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3. Okay? So, I'm waiting for this to glitch so I can just move on from it. Okay? So, down, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, and open, 2, 3. Next string, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2. That should have been up pick. That should have been down pick. Yeah, whatever. Next. Okay, so you know, what I did there was a mistake in how I was teaching, but it turned out to be exactly the same. You'll learn to do a lot of compensations, like, oh no, I missed it, and then you'll work on an up pick and you'll find it. It's just kind of something that you'll feel out over time. So now let's start getting into making this a little bit more complicated, because that's when it gets fun. Now, if you're a very, very beginner, then this could get a little complicated for you. Just practice, okay? Practice and just take it nice and easy. If you're intermediate, I don't know why you're still watching this video, because this is so basic. Okay, so metronome again. So I've been playing regular notes, whole notes. So, or, you know, I don't even know if it's not whole notes. Something about time signature or whatever. Take a guitar class. 2, 3, 4. So we're hitting on 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now, what we're doing at this point is doing, you know, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes. So now I'm going to be going on every other beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're basically doubling the speed. Okay? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so that's on one string. So now let's do the same exercises we've been doing and go between the strings. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you'll notice I'm probably down and up picking from this. You can just do down picking, but you know, it's probably good to start practicing down up picking as soon as you can. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Next string. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Next. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Like I said, this can get really boring, but it's good to practice. All right, so now let's add in the other notes. Okay, you know, at any point you can build higher or lower. So there's that glitch again. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that right there is just kind of, you know, what we're doing for picking, okay? Down, up. So let's fast forward. So now we can start hitting every note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the very first thing we did was hit, 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 hit. Okay, then we went to hit and 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 hit. So now it's going to be every beat. Pick, 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 pick. Okay. Next string. Back. Half of them are low string, half of them are the next string. You'll notice my rhythm gets messed up when I talk. I've never learned how to do like talking and playing or singing and playing at the same time. Okay? And then just alternating strings every time. And so that was me actually adding in the next one. So now this is hitting in between every note also. Hit, 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 hit. I'm throwing in an extra one. So we start 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, and for me, that's how I ended up getting faster and faster, even though I never got like really fast. For me, being at least an adequate guitarist, that's kind of what I did. So now you can end up working on, doing that kind of picking, changing strings. Now, why do we do 2 strings? Just so you can at least practice going in between strings, okay? But you're not really loading yourself with too much. If you want to go through every single string, go ahead, right? You can do however you want to end up practicing. That'll be fine. But as of right now, I like to stick with 2 strings because that's how I wish I got picking. So now, for funsies, let's start going into a couple other things, right? We're gonna go, instead of just 3 and 5, we're gonna go 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is gonna tie into how you play scales. You're gonna find a different scale and just work with the metronome, 1, 2, 3, and build your way up the scale. This isn't a scale that I know of, I'm sure it is, but I'm just kind of making it up just to work on the fingering, okay? So, zero, 3, 4, 5. Next string, 3, 4, 5. 0, 3, 4, 5. 0, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, this is going to be something you practice a whole lot until you are ready to either take the metronome faster or just do, I think it's quarter notes. So now we're working on the speed a little bit. And the next thing that you can do, start going back down. Now this is something I never practiced with scales because I never learned scales, and that's not a great way to learn guitar. But it was just, it was hard for me, so I just avoided doing it, which is also not a good thing, okay? So now you can go. 2, 3 here, going back. Mess up. Okay, and now that you have that kind of like basic, very generic version of how to do picking, you can start to play with different, you know, I don't know if there's an actual official word for it, but like just technique styles that you can do. So hammer-ons and pull-offs. A hammer-on is when, so if I pick it, and then I pick it again and put my finger there, that's just a regular note, right? For hammer-ons, it's when you pick and then press it down. So, okay? And a pull-off is when you just, you know, this hand's out of the way, right? So hammer-ons are really fun to practice, especially when you're working on getting faster. So let's get my broken metronome, put some, it's a little bit more my style, you know. It's too slow, sorry. Pause. All right, let's change our metronome to something faster that I probably can't play anyways. Watch me eat my words. 150 beats per minute. All right. And you're going to hear, so this is a much softer transition to the next note, right? A lot of times when I'm picking the notes, click, 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 softer. And it's also a lot more energy preserving, right? I can just kind of like, my right hand's getting a break. So now, why do I say that I wish I practiced more of the, because I can't do the pull-off version of those, right? So I should be able to go, I just can't, I can't. And you'll see I'm not very good at that. And it's something that I wish I practiced more. So when you guys are practicing, work the down, work the down. So not just 1, 2, 3, because that's easier. Ugh. Now again, this isn't following any actual scale. It's just easy because they're right next to each other. And you'll also notice, we're probably going to address it for the next video, what my other handicap is. If you can guess it in the comments, I will give you a high five. But there's something that I'm not doing like at all. And it's something that I very, very much should be doing. And it's something that I'm working on actually right now. Not right now, I'm making a video right now. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. So let's do a very, very quick recap, okay? So first, down picking and up picking. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, okay? Following a metronome. Okay, this is at 150. This is a little bit faster. 120 is a good place to start. 100 is a good place to start. But 1, 2, 3, hit here. Hit here. 1. So every 4 notes, or every 4 beats, you hit the guitar. Not hit the guitar. It's not that kind of taekwondo. Right? And then, I think it's half notes or quarter notes or eighth notes. One of them, we go down and up, so every 2 beats. down, and up. And now we hit on every single note. And then in between every note. Okay, we started adding in different notes. Okay, where's the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Different notes, different strings. Both strings. Okay, and then we worked on going into a little bit faster. Right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just like a really good exercise to work, because you don't have to know a whole lot of guitar. You don't have to have a whole lot of resources. You don't need to have your, scales book. You don't have to have your, your chords book. This is just something that you can work on doing, just kind of practicing at home, and just very nice, simple, easy first step to getting better at guitar. So, guys, I hope that this has been, enjoyable at least, or helpful, or some amalgam of both of them, both helpful and enjoyable. If you do have any questions, please let me know, and don't forget to figure out what's the one thing, or the one big mistake, huge mistake, that I'm making right now with this exercise that we're also going to be addressing in another video. Okay, so see if you can guess that. Stay tuned. Good job, probably, if you were playing. If you weren't, good job doing other things. Bye. This is the song I'm trying to play right now. It's not going well. This is at like 3/4 speed.